Alongside Mio are Hannah and Lisa, who are ready to serve her from this day forward. Hannah and Lisa step forward to introduce themselves to Mari, while Mio explains that they will accompany her when Mio is unavailable. The situation still feels surreal to Mari. Having two attendants at her side is far beyond anything she's used to. Still, she grips the fabric of her skirt and bows gently to express her gratitude. The two attendants glance at each other, as if silently evaluating her behavior. Despite this, Mari softly asks where they are from. They explain that they both hail from the royal capital, having served within the palace and were recommended by the third prince himself. Something in their refined manner reminds Mari of her own parents. Fortunately, Mio calls her name, snapping her back to the present moment and gently asking if she's ready for breakfast. The moment Mari sits at the table, she's taken aback by the feast laid out before her. As Mio begins to explain each one, and Mari quickly notices how many different kinds of animal meat are involved. They prepare in a wide variety just to see what she might prefer. Noticing her unease, Mio gently reassures her that she's free to leave anything she doesn't like and simply eat what appeals to her. With this, Mari offers to share her food with Mio, but she quickly declines, explaining that it's forbidden for attendants to eat with their master. Left with no choice, Mari begins taking a bite. To her surprise, everything tastes incredible, and before she realizes it, she's happily digging in. One by one, the plates begin to empty. Even as she starts to feel full, she continues eating. Mio gently urges her to stop if she's full, but Mari insists everything is too delicious to leave behind. Eventually, her stomach gives in, unable to take another bite. Mio quietly clears the table, and Mari can only feel sorry for the waste. Their next agenda is a tour around the palace, but before that, Mio brings Mari to a wardrobe for a change of clothes. As she opens the doors, Mari is stunned by the number of gowns and shoes inside. She jokes, saying she only has one body and could never wear them all. Mio explains that the wardrobe includes outfits for different seasons and occasions. Asked to choose one, Mari finds herself overwhelmed by the hundreds of options. In the end, Mio selects a soft yellow dress for her. As they walk, Mio shares a brief history of the estate. Granado's castle was originally built as a border to protect the kingdom. After the war, the family earned the title of duke and now governs their own lands. While they are connected to the royal family, they are not in the line of succession. The castle now serves mostly for special functions. Their next stop is the manor house where Mari will be residing. As they pass through a door, a beautifully landscaped yard greets her. Mio explains that the manor was built by Duchess Liu Liu herself. The first floor contains the kitchen, rooms for live-in staff, and private quarters reserved for the Duchess's family and important guests. While touring the house, they come across Thomas in the hallway. Mari quickly bows and apologizes for her father's behavior during their first encounter, but Thomas waves it off. They formally introduce themselves, and Mari immediately recognizes his name. It's the same as the legendary hero who discovered Luof Island. To her surprise, Thomas confirms it, saying he actually lives on the island. Before he gets too near, however, Mio swiftly flips him aside without hesitation. She firmly warns him not to touch the Duke's fiancée, leaving Thomas apologetic. As Mari looks around the manor, she wonders if Kiros does business with countries across the world. Mio explains that he mainly conducts trade within Ipsandros. She asks this because she assumes that the various folk crafts scattered around the house belong to Kiros, but Mio clarifies they are owned by the servants, many of whom come from different regions. According to Mio, Kiros hires people regardless of their background. This is why the staff is so loyal to him. Curious, Mari assumes Mio is from the royal capital as well, but Mio reveals she was actually abandoned as a child and found by the roadside. Mari expresses regret, but Mio gently brushes it off. She insists there's no need to feel sorry. Her life has been fulfilling. Mio explains that many of the people in the manor come from diverse backgrounds, unlike Hannah and Lisa, who are accustomed to noble duties and are better suited to serve as Mari's personal attendants. Still, Mari finds herself more interested in hearing stories from different lands. She keeps this thought to herself and instead thanks Mio sincerely. That evening, Lisa brings Mari her after-dinner tea. Out of habit, Mari asks for some milk to add, but both Lisa and Hannah gently insist that it would ruin the tea's intended flavor. Though their words are polite, Mari senses the disapproval behind them. Feeling slightly uneasy, she sets her preference aside and drinks the tea as it is. Later, as she drifts to sleep, her thoughts wander to Kiros. She wonders if he's still busy. True enough, in a different land, Kiros rides in his carriage, also thinking of Mari. Just as he loses himself in thought, his coachman reminds him of tomorrow's packed schedule. With a sigh, Kiros wonders when he'll finally be able to return home. A few days pass, and Mari enjoys another hearty breakfast. As she bites into the crisp, juicy vegetables, she asks Mio where they get such fresh produce. To her surprise, Mio reveals that the vegetables are grown right in their own courtyard garden. Intrigued, Mari expresses her interest in visiting the garden. However, since Mio will be busy preparing for the Duke's return, she suggests that Mari go with Hannah and Lisa instead. Though hesitant at first, Mari sees this as a chance to get to know the two better. Later that day, Mari makes her way to the vegetable garden, where she happens to meet the gardener, Johan. Curious, she asks about his planting methods, and Johan cheerfully answers each question. Seeing her enthusiasm, he asks if she gardens too. Mari confirms she used to grow and sell vegetables back home to help her family survive. She admits, however, that tomatoes were difficult for her to grow. Impressed by Johan's success with them, she asks how he do it. With this, Johan invites her to come with him. As she starts to follow Johan, Mari hears Hannah and Lisa whispering behind her, their eyes on her steps through the bare dirt. She's certain they're ridiculing her, mocking how she behaves. Maybe she deserves it, she thinks, but Mr. Johan certainly doesn't. She hesitates, glancing down at her shoes, elegant and new, a gift from the Count. The thought of soiling them holds her back. That night, Mari lies in bed, unable to sleep. Restless, she decides to take a quiet walk around the palace. As she passes by the dining hall, she notices the lights still on. Curious, she peeks through the door and is surprised to see Kiros inside. He's just arrived, having missed dinner, and is about to eat. Spotting her, he pulls out a chair and invites her to join him. They begin a gentle conversation about her stay so far, but it's soon interrupted by Mio. Behind her is a shy figure trying to stay hidden. Tapo, the palace chef. As he nervously presents the dish, a warm chicken soup, Mari's face brightens. Kara's requests that Tapo prepare a serving for her as well. With just one bite, Mari instantly praises the soup, adding that all the meals in the palace have been incredibly delicious. To her surprise, Tapo suddenly breaks down, insisting there's no need for flattery, and after all, she never finishes her food no matter how hard he tries. Karas asks Mio if it's true that Mari dislikes their meals, but Mio calmly replies that Mari tends to give vague answers. Flustered, Mari quickly clarifies that it's not because of the taste that she doesn't finish her food. She simply gets full and in fact feels guilty about the wasted ingredients as well. Upon hearing this, Tapo becomes even more emotional and deeply moved that she actually enjoys his cooking. Mio, unfazed, quietly announces she'll prepare tea for their after-dinner drink. Karas reassures Mari, saying Tapo is just a little too quick to cry. Wanting to make it up to her, he decides to whip up a special dessert just for them. After a few moments, Tapo returns with the apple pie he prepared. Mari thinks that perhaps the reason he gets upset when people don't finish their food is because he assumes everyone eats like him. So she and Karos invite him to join them. In the end, their plates are sparkling clean. Tapo ends up eating half the pie himself before happily excusing himself for the night. Left alone, Karos gently apologizes for placing Mari in a situation where she has to prioritize others, then asks if there's anything else she finds difficult. Though Mari denies it, Karos brings up Hannah and Lisa. Mari hesitates but insists they take good care of her. Karos, however, sees through her words. As the future Duchess, he believes she deserves attendants who are truly suited for her. He tells her she doesn't need to pretend to be happy with things that clearly displease her. Instead, he encourages her to be honest and voice any discomfort she may feel. However, the reason Mari never expresses preferences is because she's grown used to simply accepting what's given to her. For her, that's always been enough. She doesn't want to squander the Count's kindness by asking for more. But Karos gently promises to give her anything she wants. Those simple words break something inside her. Their quiet moment is soon interrupted by Mio, who arrives with their tea along with a very high pile of what looks like mashed potatoes. They assume it's for them, but Mio promptly takes it with her. It's her midnight snack. 2 small kettles sit stacked on a burner in front of them. Karos explains it's called a chadanlik, used for making traditional Ipsandros tea. The fire heats both kettles. Once boiling, hot water is poured over the leaves and the pot is placed back on top. After a while, the strong tea is poured into cups and diluted with more hot water from the bottom pot, adjusted to taste. While waiting for the tea to boil, Karos asks Mari to tell him something about herself, but she has nothing to share. Her mind feels empty, but she recalls playing word chains with her sister when they were young, and that's the only thing she can say. Karas suggests they change the rules slightly. Instead of random words, they'll only say things they like. Karas begins the game with the word Mari, but Mari insists they start with A, so he changes it to apple pie. With the word ending in E, Mari responds with exciting Ipsandrian stories, a phrase that catches Kira's attention. It's the same thing she said when they first met. They continue the game, taking turns naming things they like. Kiros keeps mentioning sweets, while Mari lists agricultural goods, practical and common in their economy. But when it's her turn with the letter K, she instinctively says Kiros, then quickly denies it, claiming she meant kiss. Kiros seems to see through the slip, but he lets it go with a knowing smile and continues the game, occasionally teasing her by saying her name, making Mari blush. Eventually, Mio enters and notices them still playing. Only then do they realize the flame has long died out and the tea leaves are burnt already. They try to drink it anyway, but it's unbearable. Kairos orders Mio to mask the taste with milk and sugar, but she dryly replies that the two of them already have enough sweetness, leaving both Kairos and Mari flustered in silence. When Mari is about to drift off to sleep, her thoughts hold her back. Memories resurface, how she became a mere replacement for her sister's betrothal, how Hannah and Lisa treated her so harshly. And yet Kairos shows genuine interest in knowing her. Meanwhile, in his quarters, Kairos lies on his bed, hugging his pillow as his mind lingers on Mari. Just then, Mio enters quietly, catching him in the act. Startled, Kairos quickly composes himself, but Mio simply asks how he feels after days of not seeing Mari. Surprisingly, the Count simply answers that he loves Mari and finds her truly beautiful, which only frustrates Mio. She recalls how, 5 days ago, he ordered her to give Mari the utmost hospitality and everything she deserves. Kairos believes Mari was not treated kindly in her own home. He wants to surround her with every luxury possible. However, no matter how much he offers, Mari continues to avoid these comforts. This is when Mio shares her own experiences. Though abandoned as a child, she was fortunate to be cared for by Liu Liu. Over time, she rose to become the head chamberlain of Granova's castle, a position far above her station. For this, she expresses her deep gratitude to Kairos, acknowledging that his generosity shaped her life. Kairos feels confused about Mio's point, but she explains that she can relate to Mari. Coming from a life of oppression and suddenly stepping into nobility is overwhelming. Mio believes Mari is still uncertain about everything, just as she once was. Back then, she feared it would all disappear one day too. Kairos firmly assures her that nothing will vanish. Mari is perfect as she is, just as Mio fulfills her role as head chamberlain, and Liu Liu treats her like a daughter. His reassurance stuns Mio, prompting her to praise him for continuing to appreciate such things. However, Kairos' tone shifts as he mentions his upcoming business trip the next day. He asks Mio to use her discretion to ensure Mari's comfort. Even during Mio's serious moments, Kairos breaks the tension by gushing over Mari. He lists countless compliments while hugging his pillow and rolling back and forth on the bed. Mio bids Kairos goodbye, closing his bedroom door, but her mind is already fixed on her new priority. She finally has permission to act regarding personnel. The next day, Mari is served a meal, smaller than usual but perfectly portioned. To her relief, she finishes everything without difficulty, leaving her feeling satisfied. As she enjoys her tea, Mio joins her and Mari's heart lifts. She has long wished to share such a moment with her. It is then that Mari realizes that if Mio is here, Kairos must have already left. However, Mio calmly explains that Hannah and Lisa have been assigned to attend to the master, allowing Mio to focus on Mari. As her thoughts drift, Tapo enters, carrying a tray. He presents a delicate white pudding made from almond and fresh milk, offering Mio a plate as well. They take their first bites together, and both freeze in astonishment. Tapo cheerfully announces he will make more pudding for the entire kingdom, but Mari quickly stops him, suggesting Hannah and Lisa might not like milk. This catches Mio's attention, and she calmly asks why Mari thinks so. Mari innocently recounts a story of when she once requested milk for her tea, only to be denied by Hannah and Lisa. As Mio listens, her expression gradually hardens. Mio and Mari stroll down the hallway, chatting casually when Thomas approaches carrying a box addressed to Mari from the Shatterin household. Hearing this, Mio immediately scolds him, reminding him that all deliveries should be inspected first. Flustered, Thomas drops the box, spilling its contents across the floor. Mio questions why it wasn't brought to her beforehand, but Thomas explains that Hannah and Lisa had already inspected it. Among the scattered items, Mari notices a letter from her mother and belongings from her past life, things meant for her, assuming she would only ever serve in the Count's court. Realization dawns on Mio. Hannah and Lisa intended to humiliate Mari. Enraged, she storms toward the sound of mocking laughter echoing nearby. As Thomas fumbles to apologize, Mari kneels quietly, collecting torn pages of her cherished story, Red Raggedy Cat, hoping to piece it back together. Moments later, Mio storms back into the room, holding both Hannah and Lisa before tossing them onto the floor without hesitation. Infuriated, the two sneer at her, mocking her status as just a maid. They bragged arrogantly about serving the prince in the palace and being recommended by Prince Louis himself. Despite Mio holding the title of Granova's head chamberlain, their insults persist, turning fiercer as they target Mari, calling her a barbarian, while ridiculing Mio as an abandoned child. Their words push Mio past her breaking point. With a sharp glare, Mio declares them as stupid. Hannah lunges at her in rage, but Mio effortlessly counters with a swift flip that slams her to the ground. Without missing a beat, she pivots toward Lisa, executing the same move. Thomas apologizes once more for the trouble, but Mari brushes it off. She requests thread and scissors, determined to mend it herself. Later that day, Mari visits Johan in the garden, now wearing a more suitable dress for gardening. Johan, unbothered, happily agrees to let her join him. Together, they begin working, and Mari kneels to plant seedlings with care. As she does so, memories surface. She used to do this for her family. Yet, unlike before, it doesn't feel like hard labor at all. Instead, it feels like doing something she truly loves, growing vegetables. As they continue working, Johan apologizes for avoiding her during their first meeting. He explains that he didn't want to cause her trouble, being just a servant, and more than that, a foreigner. But Mari dismisses his concerns, assuring him that she doesn't care about such things. To her, everyone in the castle feels like family. He then recalls how Count Kairos often speaks the same way. While Mari and Johan are tending the garden, Thomas arrives to inform Mari that Kairos is about to leave. Startled, she rushes over to bid him farewell, only to find him looking tired, clearly from spending the night thinking about her. As they exchange a few words, Mio speaks as well, advising Kairos to return Hannah and Lisa to the palace. This infuriates the two, who immediately protest, boasting about being personally recommended and even claiming Prince Louifen hinted they could become Kairos' concubines, and blames Mari for their failure. They hurl insult after insult, calling her nothing but a dead woman's replacement, and even branding Kairos a laughingstock for staying with her. The final straw comes when they call Mari ugly. At that moment, Kairos intervenes, his voice sharp with anger. He berates the two harshly, declaring they lack even a single quality that could make him love them, unlike Mari. His words humiliate them completely. Without hesitation, Kairos orders that Hannah and Lisa be removed at once. When Hannah and Lisa are finally taken away, Mari and Kairos are left in the garden, sharing a quiet moment together. Kairos bends down, picks a delicate flower, and gently tucks it behind Mari's ear. His gaze lingers as he softly compliments her beauty one by one. Her radiant red hair, her bright eyes, her knowledge, her curiosity, and even her warm smile. To him, everything about her is captivating. Caught up in the moment, Kairos slowly leans closer as if to kiss her. But before their lips meet, Mio interrupts, reminding him of the time. They almost forgot she was still there. From a distance, they notice Tunica and Johan watching, both amused by what they just witnessed. That same day, Kairos leaves in a carriage for the royal palace. He will be away for 10 days, and once he returns, the preparations for their betrothal will begin. As Mari watches him disappear from sight, an uneasy feeling lingers in her heart, even with Kairos' earlier reassurance. That night, Mari receives a letter, an invitation from Prince Louifen himself. However, as she reads it, the tone feels less like an invitation and more like a warning. The letter states that she is invited to a special event at the royal palace and emphasizes how all preparations have already been made in anticipation of her presence. If she refuses, the prince warns that everything will be wasted and even hints that people may hold a grudge lasting generations. The sender is none other than Prince Louifen, the third prince of the kingdom and captain of the royal knights. Known for his open-hearted personality, the suddenness of this letter is unsettling. The fact that it arrives on the eve of the event makes it clear her attendance is a must. Feeling pressured, Mari reluctantly decides to attend. By morning, a royal chariot from the prince arrives at the Granova's castle to escort her to the palace. Mari steps inside and is immediately struck by the carriage's lavish interior. With uncertainty, the carriage sets off toward the royal palace. The carriage travels until Mari finally reaches her destination. Upon arrival, Mio immediately begins explaining everything. The kingdom of Dilts is known as the stronghold of the royal knights. She wonders why she was invited, and Mio speculates it could be because Prince Louifen himself recommended Hannah and Lisa. As they walk, Mio describes the prince's eccentric nature. Despite his odd sense of humor, Mio assures her he is not a bad person. They tour the lively streets where laughter and music fill the air. It has been 50 years since the war, and the kingdom thrives in peace, bustling with joy and entertainment. While sharing this story, Mio hands Mari a local street food, which she accepts willingly. Scanning the lively festival, Mio notices that Prince Louifen is nowhere in sight, leaving Mari to wonder if she should simply enjoy the festivities and slip away. Mio, however, refuses to believe it's that simple. She warns that Louifen is notoriously unpredictable, though Mari suspects Mio is just being too harsh about the prince. Just then, Mio spots someone in the distance. It's Prince Louifen. Mari panics instantly as she searches the crowd for a glimpse of him. Mio decides to approach him quickly, but before moving, she turns to Mari with a firm warning. Louifen might be just doing his tricks to lure them. She orders Mari to stay in her place and not wander under any circumstances. Everything Mio said leaves Mari terrified, so she vows not to move an inch. But then, a vendor calls out to her, and her eyes catch a flyer that reads, "Apple Peeling Contest." Instantly intrigued, she walks over and tells the vendor she wants to participate. The vendor, surprised, remarks that nobles usually never even touch a knife. His comment echoes Hannah and Lisa's cruel words in her mind, so she fears this will only make Kira's a laughingstock, just like they claimed. However, the vendor doesn't budge and proudly presents her an apple, boasting it carries the knight's stamp of approval. With this, Mari decides to take a challenge. But just as the timer is about to start, someone snatches the apple from her hands. It's Prince Luifan. With a teasing grin, he toys with her apple, refusing to return it. Mari demands it back, but Luifan only takes a bold bite, smirking as her face flushes with anger and frustration. The vendor jokingly scolds the man, but when he addresses him as Highness, Mari freezes. Only then does she realize it's Prince Luifan. At that moment, Mio arrives, running, confirming what she suspected all along. Luifan was simply pulling one of his tricks. With his trick exposed, Luifan finally offers a proper introduction, presenting himself not only as a prince, but more importantly, as Kira's friend. In that instant, Mari understands the kind of person he truly is. After introducing himself, Luifan strolls with Mio and Mari around the kingdom, enduring Mio's scolding for arriving late. He apologizes repeatedly before suggesting they visit the noble's salon for a lavish buffet. Mari, however, declines. The memory of Hannah and Lisa's behavior leaves her uneasy about noble formalities. Luifan apologizes again, admitting his mistake and recommending them without understanding their character. Mari explains that aristocratic settings make her anxious, prompting Luifan to change plans and invite her to a swordsmanship exhibition instead. Yet even that unsettles her, so Mio assures her she can decline since competitions heighten her discomfort. Frustrated, Luifan bursts out in exasperation. Feeling pressured, Mari reluctantly agrees to accompany him. He eagerly shares how Kairos once praised his swordsmanship, which makes Mari relax a little while Luifan beams with pride. When they arrive, the semifinals of the swordsmanship tournament are about to begin, and the arena roars with excitement. While waiting, Luifan casually recalls dozing off during last year's concert, forcing Kairos to nudge his face repeatedly to wake him. Mari finds it oddly fascinating how fondly Luifan speaks of Kairos. Soon, Mio excuses herself to get food for all of them, though she and Mari just ate. As the semifinals begin, the arena erupts in cheers. A black armored knight steps onto the stage to face an opponent clad in silver, yet Mari's attention drifts elsewhere. Luifan notices her disinterest and wonders aloud if she acts this way toward Kairos as well. Mari hesitates, unable to respond. So Luifan smiles faintly and admits she is unlike anyone he has met before. He then shares a memory of meeting Kairos from the first time back in school, a meeting that ended in a fistfight. Despite Kairos being a duke's son, Luifan outranked him, so he called him a fool for creating such rankings. With this, Luifan punched him in the face, but Kairos also retaliated and chaos soon followed. Without realizing it, the sword fight concludes swiftly, and the black armored knight claims victory with ease. His movements suggest he was even holding back, leading Luifan to assume he must be a considerate fighter. What surprises him most, however, is Mari's reaction. While other women squeal in excitement, Mari remains unmoved. Physical power doesn't impress her, instead it unsettles her. This stark contrast frustrates Luifan, who begins questioning why Kairos would choose someone so seemingly negative as his fiancé. Mari is about to respond when the next announcement interrupts her thoughts. Another match begins, featuring the same Black Knight. In a matter of strides, he strikes down his opponent, earning an instant victory that sends the crowd into cheers. What truly captures Mari's attention is not the Black Knight's victory, but his kindness. Instead of claiming his trophy, he first tends to his fallen opponent. Just then, Mio returns, holding a bag of food, and casually sits beside Mari. With certainty, she reveals that the Black Knight is none other than Kairos. Luifan questions her judgment, but Mio recognizes his footwork and swordsmanship. To confirm, Mio suddenly leaps up and screams Kairos' name like an overexcited fan before quickly ducking out of sight. Her outburst instantly grabs the crowd's attention, and Kairos as well. With no other option, the Black Knight removes his helmet, confirming Mio's words. The audience erupts in cheers as Kairos greets them with a bow. Mio explains that every male noble in the kingdom of Dilts is made to hold a sword at least once, and Kairos has trained ever since he was a kid for self-defense. Mari knew right away that it was Luifan who planned it all along. After the match, Mari and Mio return to the capital, only to encounter a long line of girls hoping Kairos will choose a new fiancé after his former one had died. Mari feels a pang of pity for herself, realizing she is nothing more than a replacement. What infuriates her further is hearing the girls ridicule Kairos, mocking him as a barbarian despite his honor. Unable to bear their insults, Mari strides forward, determined to find him. The girls immediately block her path, demanding to know who she is. Mari lies, claiming she is the Count's associate. At that moment, Mio steps in to cover for her, creating a distraction that allows Mari to slip through and continue forward. Contrary to the other girls' speculations, Mari knows Kairos is nothing like they claim. She does not understand how they can speak about him that way, and the thought troubles her deeply. Meanwhile, within the castle, Kairos was unaware that Luifan arranged for him to participate in the swordsmanship competition. Their talk halts abruptly when Mari bursts into the room, accidentally making a noise. With a bright smile, she congratulates Kairos warmly, leaving him stunned. For a moment, he wonders if he's hallucinating, returning a smile in disbelief. His composure falters further when Luifan reveals he invited Mari intentionally, hoping she would witness Kairos' strength. Mari, however, doesn't seem entirely pleased by this. Kairos quickly steps in, explaining that she dislikes violence and aristocracies. To him, none of that matters, yet Luifan insists she doesn't look happy at all. Luifan bluntly raises the topic of Mari being nothing more than a replacement for her sister and a pawn in a political marriage with Kairos. Mari cannot deny it. Deep down, she knows her engagement began as a mere formality. Her silence convinces Luifan that she has no real feelings for Kairos, prompting him to urge her to leave. He cannot bear to see his closest friend in love with someone who appears indifferent. His words grow harsher, even mocking Mari's discomfort with noble customs. Kira's restraint snaps, and he seizes Luifan by the collar. Yet Luifan pushes further with his insults, undeterred. Their heated argument escalates until Luifan draws his sword. Kairos follows, and the clash begins. Mari can only stand frozen in place as the two men battle fiercely before finally breaking apart. Instead, Luifan formally challenges Kairos to a duel in the grand arena, determined to crush his pride. Kairos, however, remains calm as he accepts the challenge. When Luifan finally leaves, Mari returns to Kairos, pleading not to escalate things further. Through trembling words, she admits that everything Luifan said about her was true, but what she cannot bear is seeing Kairos ridiculed because of her. And when he looks at her, tears are streaming down her cheeks. Despite Luifan's harshness, Kairos understands his friend's motives. He was only trying to protect him, fearing Kairos was trapped in unrequited love. Still, that does not justify humiliating Mari, and Kairos is determined to teach him a lesson. Mari thanks Kairos for defending her, but Luifan's insult, calling him a coward, still lingers, making her relent and let him fight. He lifts Mari's hand and presses a soft kiss to it, leaving them both silently flushed at the moment. Later that day, Kairos faces Luifan in the swordsmanship match, and the crowd grows wild while both Mari and Mio watch from their same spot as before. Kairos urges Luifan to put his helmet on, afraid of injuring his friend, but Luifan refuses and tells Kairos to do it instead. Refusing to comply, both royals throw their helmets on the ground as they begin their match. A few moments pass and the two are still fighting. By the looks of it, both have the same level of skill. Then, Luifan knocks Kairos' sword away. But Kairos carries on, fighting Luifan with no weapon in hand. Soon, he manages to make Luifan lose his grip on his sword as well, and the fight escalates when Luifan throws a straight punch at Kairos' face. The match turns into a fistfight, something completely unalloyed by the rules, but neither backs down. They keep going until Kairos finally delivers a powerful punch that sends Luifan crashing to the ground, ending the fight. With that, Kairos is announced as the winner, and Mari immediately rises from her seat, cheering for him with a bright smile. The crowd soon follows, their cheers filling the arena. Amid the roaring applause, Kairos calls out to Mari, asking her to come down and join him. With that, Mari approaches the stage, but just as she is about to ask, Kairos carries her in bridal hold. Facing the crowd, he boldly announces their betrothal. Instantly, the crowd erupts in whispers, shocked that Mari, daughter of Baron Shadowrun, an unfamiliar name, is the future countess. Kairos gently urges Mari to look at the crowd, but shyness holds her back. Deep down, she feels unworthy of standing beside him. Yet Kairos calms her doubts, pulling her closer and reassuring her gently. The cheers grow louder as Mari finally faces them. And at that moment, Kairos and Mari stand proud as the people chant for the future Granado. That afternoon, Mari returns to the vendor hosting the apple peeling contest. The vendor immediately recognizes her and apologizes for being unable to stop the prince earlier, but Mari pays no mind. She simply wants to join again. The vendor hands her an apple, but before she can begin, someone snatches it away. This time, it's Kairos, eager to compete alongside her. Kairos starts peeling the apple with remarkable skill. Mari notices and learns he mastered this during his camp out for business trips. Curious, she brings up Luifan, wondering how he's doing. Before Kairos can respond, a familiar voice answers from behind. Kairos blames him for the earlier chaos and quickly thrusts an apple into his hand, challenging him to join before turning to Mari to ask for tips. Sure enough, Mari knows exactly how to handle the knife, having plenty of experience peeling fruits and vegetables back home. Kairos continues to compliment her as he works on his apple, which prompts Luifan to remind him that Mari doesn't even like him. No matter how many sharp remarks Luifan throws, Kairos remains completely unfazed, responding with optimism to every word. He even goes as far as saying how wonderful life will be once they are married and spend their days together. Finally realizing how devoted his friend is, Luifan decides to let it go and turns to leave. But before he can, Mari calls out to him. She expresses interest in learning more about Kairos and hopes Luifan can share more stories about him another time. Mari understands that the reason Luifan brought her here was to show her Kairos' admirable qualities. With this, Luifan offers an apology and bites into the apple. Turns out the apple is a display fruit, a trick Kairos pulled, and soon the two are teasing each other relentlessly until Luifan storms off in frustration, muttering under his breath. When it's time to leave, Mio informs Mari that she must stay behind with her master, so Mari will return under the coachman's escort. Before parting ways, Mari and Kairos exchange gentle words until their conversations shift to sweet compliments about each other. In a sudden rush of courage, Mari steps closer and presses a soft kiss on Kairos' cheek. Flustered, she quickly retreats, darting into the carriage and urging the coachman to go, leaving Kairos momentarily frozen before chasing a few steps after her, stunned by her sudden gesture. As the carriage rolls on, Mari stares into the window. In just a month or two, she will marry Kairos, the man once promised to her sister. Though it's a political marriage, she silently wishes for a life built on love. Meanwhile, Mio delivers a message to Kairos confirming it originates from House Shadowrun. As Kairos scans the contents, his expression darkens. The letter's content leaves him questioning whether the Shadowruns are really Mari's parents. The letter that arrives from Baron Shadowrun and his wife is full of harsh and abusive words. They only care about Mari coming back so they can enslave her again. This leaves Kairos wondering how they can abuse Mari like that. While he is away, he wants Mio to investigate something for him. It has been a month since the festival. On this day, Mari stands looking outside the window, admiring the wonderful weather and looking forward to the day ahead. Suddenly, a knock on the door catches her attention. It is Wolfgang, her butler. Just as she greets him, a young girl rushes forward to hug her. Wolfgang introduces the girl as Cecily, his granddaughter, who is just an apprentice. Cecily proudly shows off the buns in her hair, and Mari happily compliments them. While the two exchange pleasant words, Cecily casually mentions that Mia will still be away for the day, so she must attend to Mari in the meantime. Their conversation is interrupted when Wolfgang asks about Mari's dress, prompting her to choose a blue off-shoulder gown that fits her perfectly. Wolfgang and Cecily both compliment her, and Wolfgang teases that Kairos will surely embrace her upon seeing her. His comment leaves Mari flustered, as lately Kairos seems to affect her differently. Eager to greet Kairos upon his arrival, Mari and Cecily hurry toward the Count's location. Along the way, Tapa notices them and remarks that lunch isn't ready yet, to which Mari casually replies that the Count will arrive. After exchanging farewells, Mari and Cecily continue on. Johan approaches carrying a bouquet, suggesting Mari take them with her. So she takes them with her as they go on their way. Upon the Count's arrival, the castle attendants line up to greet him. What catches his attention most is Mari, standing above the stairs in a pretty gown, holding a bouquet. She descends to greet him and offers the flowers Johan gave her. Kairos, however, does not take them, saying they are an accessory for her. But in that case, she would be a gift to him as well, a flower personified. Kairos teases that he almost embraced her, which makes Mari shy. Then, unexpectedly, Kairos offers his hand. Mari thinks he intends to take the roses, but instead he reaches for her hand and holds her close. The sudden act startles Mari, but Kairos calmly takes a flower from the bouquet and places it in her hair, all while complimenting her beauty. Still, Mari believes he's only teasing her. Later that night, Mari lies awake in her room, exhausted. She had hoped they could finally have dinner together, but Kairos must leave again. The betrothal ceremony is approaching and nerves weigh heavily on her. Beyond what she learned from her father and at school, she feels like she doesn't know anything else. Suddenly, an idea comes to her. She rises and retrieves the Red Riding Cat book from her table drawer. But when she opens it, she realizes the pages are torn and scattered. Wanting to fix the torn book, Mari seeks Wolfgang's help, and together, they stroll through the castle hallways. As they pass, they notice a light shining from a room. Mari tries to peek inside, and the door opens. It's Liu Liu. Mari greets her warmly, and although Liu Liu is concerned about why Mari is wandering so late, Mari shares her worries. Liu Liu invites her into the library, a large room filled with countless books that amaze Mari. Seeing letters spread out on the table, Mari asks if Liu Liu doesn't have someone to write for her. Liu Liu explains that since Kairos is very busy, she helps him write them. The letters are invitations for their betrothal ceremony, so they must be written by the couple or someone close. With this, Mari offers to help with the writing, and Liu Liu gladly accepts. While writing letters for Ipsandros, Mari mentions she can also write them. This immediately interests Liu Liu. Mari is skilled in the Egyptian language for reading and writing, though she struggles with verbal conversations. Wolfgang shares Mari's fondness for Alexandrian stories like the Red Raggedy Cat book she came to mend. Liu Liu happily takes the book, feeling a wave of nostalgia. Mari feels the same, remembering how her sister Anastasia used to read it to her. Although Mari's father often calls her an eccentric layabout for studying foreign languages, Liu Liu thinks it's quite clever. Mastering other languages would be a great advantage when dealing with merchants and nobility alike. Liu Liu explains that Egyptian isn't as widely useful as Flarian and Shanian, but Mari speaks those languages too. Even though she is just a baron's daughter, many tenant farmers on their land are immigrants, so Mari learned these languages for managerial purposes. Liu Liu finds it strange that Mari handles all this, saying it should be her father's job. Mari replies she's only assisting. She's always loved writing letters, and even if she writes on her father's behalf, it lets her connect with others freely. While they write, Liu Liu notices Mari's beautiful handwriting and asks her to sign her name. Liu Liu finds this only right as she is writing with her own words and not on behalf of anyone else. Hearing this, Mari can hardly believe it. Tears begin to fall down her cheeks. Liu Liu reveals she never expected much from Mari. She had heard Mari was a noblewoman from the countryside, that she was the person Kairos chose to propose to. Like herself, Liu Liu once thought she needed to help Mari where she might be lacking, but now she takes that back. She is simply happy for Mari as Kairos' betrothed. Over time, Liu Liu has come to care for her and wishes only the best for her future. Mari cannot hold back her tears. In that moment, Mari isn't sad but feels overwhelmed by emotion. Kairos arrives at the palace and is immediately greeted by Mio, who has just finished the investigation he ordered. In a nearby room, documents lie scattered, confirming that Mari is truly the Baron's daughter. Kairos still harbors doubts, but Mio is certain. The records detail the noble family's history, showing no evidence of adoption or remarriage. It is said they even shed tears of joy upon Mari's birth. There can be no hospital mix-up either, as the hospice had only one bed at the time. Kairos finds it hard to believe that Mari's biological parents would treat her so cruelly, but Mio's own story proves that birth parents do not always show unconditional love for their children. With this in mind, Mio hands him another letter received that morning, which Kairos opens immediately. The letter states that Mari's father is on his deathbed and demands her immediate return. Both of them know that if Mari learns this, she will come back home, but Kairos wants to protect her without trapping her inside the castle forever. As he makes his way there, he hears Liu Liu speaking with Mari. Peeking through the doorway, he sees Liu Liu teaching Mari how to curtsy. Though Liu Liu is simply instructing, Kairos misinterprets her actions as bullying and quickly barges in to intervene. However, when Mari returns to welcome Kairos home, he feels flattered and momentarily loses his words. Liu Liu seizes the moment to ask Kairos to be Mari's practice partner for the curtsy. Kairos thinks she doesn't have to learn such formalities, but Liu Liu insists that Mari needs to learn them somehow. She expresses confidence in Mari's abilities and praises her, while Kairos simply wishes to see Mari surrounded by beauty and happiness. Cecily calls out to Kairos, showing him the curtsy Mari has practiced. Watching Mari perform it, Kairos is stunned by her grace and poise. Liu Liu then brings up Mari's role in writing the betrothal letters. Although Kairos prefers she not be involved, Liu Liu gently scolds him, reminding him to let Mari grow independently and not treat her like a fragile bird. Their conversation is interrupted by Mari's question about her curtsy. Kairos compliments her warmly and she accepts happily. Her smile reminds Kairos of the first time he saw her, bright and genuine. With that, Liu Liu suggests they take a break and share tea, so they each take a step outside. Before Mari can leave with the others, Kairos stops her and hands her the letter from home. He thinks that if she ever feels the need to return, he will go with her. But Mari interrupts him mid-sentence, saying she will not be going home anytime soon. She knows the letter is a lie, the handwriting matches her father's, but if he truly were on his deathbed, he wouldn't be able to write it. She suspects there were other demanding letters before this one, which Kairos confirms. He apologizes for acting without her permission. Mari gently shrugs it off. She understands her family might be struggling to hire a maid, which is probably why they want her back. She knows they don't want to see her, they hate her. Now she realizes their abuse was never discipline, but pure hatred. Kairos once thought Mari accepted the abuse as natural because of her looks. Now he sees how strong she has become. Mari thanks him, saying it is his and the castle people's care that helped her recognize her worth. Kairos embraces her tightly, creating an awkward but tender moment between them. While having tea, Tunica casually compliments Mari's outfit, which she accepts gratefully. Encouraged, Kairos decides to compliment her as well. However, when he does, Mari becomes flustered and struggles to respond. She explains it's because she isn't used to receiving compliments from men, so Kairos quickly apologizes. Just then, Topo approaches with a blueberry tart in hand and also compliments Mari. This time, she handles it gracefully. Kairos feels unsettled. Topo is a man too. Kairos wonders if Mari's discomfort stems from his frequent absences. With that, he promises to stay by her side from now on. Yet Mari isn't paying attention. She is busy greeting Mio, who has just arrived. Mio comes to speak with Kairos and requests a leave of absence. She explains she must visit a remote place, even though she has just returned. She describes her plans with such charm and enthusiasm that Mari suspects she might be meeting a lover, and Mio advises her to take some private time with Kairos now that their betrothal ceremony is approaching. That night, before Mio heads out, Kairos hands her a pile of letters to deliver to Baron Shatterin if she ever meets him on her journey. The letters contain warnings forbidding any bad talk about Mari and list all of her good qualities. He also gives Mio a purse full of gold coins and instructs her to use the royal carriage. Although Mio is strong, Kairos insists on sending one of his attendants along just in case anything happens. The next day, Mio departs for her destination with Thomas accompanying her. She wears unusually casual clothes, which surprises Thomas. He thinks it's a bad idea for him to tag along, assuming she's meeting a lover. Mio explains she is heading to the Shatterin lands where a tragic accident occurred 2 months ago. The package from Mari's parents had carried something else. It included a letter from her younger brother, Cedric, announcing Anastasia's return. Thomas is shocked. He thought she had died. Contrary to the story that her carriage fell off a cliff, investigations revealed they were attacked by bandits, and while fleeing toward the river, the carriage was overturned by muddy waters. Even so, Mio insists there's no way Anastasia survived. The river is cold and swift, and rescue could not reach them in time. Yet, in the Shatterin home, Elvira is happily combing a head of beautiful golden hair, belonging to whom she calls Anastasia. During a short break from their journey, Mio carefully explains everything to Thomas. Anastasia was being escorted by carriage, arranged by her father, on the way to Granado's castle. For the first few days, the travel went smoothly. However, when they were already near the capital, they were suddenly ambushed by bandits. In her desperate attempt to escape, Anastasia slipped and fell into a river that was swollen from heavy rainfall. The driver tried to save her, but his body had too many wounds. Everything Mio tells Thomas comes directly from the driver's testimony and the police investigation. What unsettles Thomas is Cedric's letter to Mari, claiming Anastasia has returned home. If true, Mari must distance herself from Kairos at once. Still, Mio insists Kairos' love for Mari is genuine. A few days after Mio departs from Granado's castle, Kairos steps in to serve Mari in her place. Though the usual uniforms don't fit him, he is still determined to look the part of her attendant. Yet what Kairos truly seeks is an emotional bond. He longs for Mari to connect with him as she did with Mio and the other castle workers. Kairos tries his best to do his job, but Mari becomes flustered whenever she meets his gaze. He even tries to do her hair, which only makes her more nervous. However, when Kairos begins talking about picking out her dress, Mari's expression immediately changes. Fortunately, Cicely arrives just in time, kicking Kairos from behind since he promised her that she could be the one to dress Mari. The two argue over it until Wolfgang interferes, apologizing for his granddaughter's behavior and scolding Cicely for disrespecting Kairos. The next day, in Mari's room, Kairos suddenly barges in, asking her for a date. It turns out Kairos received a letter from Louifin inviting them to the royal capital. However, he admits he does not fully trust Louifin, so instead, he wants to go there with Mari alone. Arriving at the kingdom's streets, Kairos and Mari are both dressed casually to conceal their identities. However, the way Mari still addresses Kairos holds traces of formality, so he urges her to call him by his first name instead, reminding her that it could expose them. The idea startles Mari, but since there is still time before they meet with Louifin, Kairos suggests they take a short tour first. Extending his hand, he insists they walk hand in hand to avoid being separated in the crowd. Meanwhile, in another place, Mio and Thomas continue their journey, now approaching the Shatterin lands where Mari grew up. The area stretches with open fields and cattle herds. At first, Thomas expected to see humbler lands, but Mio confirms the truth. Though the land itself is wide, taxes have steadily increased ever since the end of the Great War. With that burden, the landlord must continue taking care of the land as part of his job, but they don't seem to be doing well nowadays. Their first stop is Mari's old school. The receptionists fail to recognize Mio, so she smoothly pretends to be a noblewoman from the royal capital seeking knowledge about farming. Thomas can only stare in shock, amazed at how effortlessly Mio shifts her demeanor in an instant. Mio asks the receptionist if there is any girl she can speak with about farming, but aside from Mari, the only student was the daughter of a local innkeeper who had also withdrawn midterm. Her name is Karina. Mio quickly locates Karina's mother and shifts her persona once more, this time claiming to be a detective from the royal capital. She lies smoothly, saying Karina might be in danger and requesting her old student ID from school. Mio succeeds and secures Karina's ID. With that, they continue their journey toward the Shatterin mansion. Thomas, however, grows increasingly uneasy with her actions. While he questions her methods, Mio remains confident, justifying her behavior by pointing out loopholes and insisting she technically never lied. Despite Thomas's worry, Mio reveals that her big lies are only beginning. Finally, they arrive at the Shatterin mansion, where Mio warns Thomas to quickly adapt to her behavior so they won't be exposed. The mansion appears large, but its poor maintenance is obvious, far different from how Mio once remembered it. Without hesitation, Mio strides onto the property, catching Thomas off guard. An elderly woman named Tanya approaches them, demanding to know who they are. With a charming smile, she introduces herself as a student visiting with her fiancé. She claims they are Karina and Henry, friends of Mari. To support the lie, Mio shows her the student ID she obtained from Karina's mother. To investigate, Mio fakes a story about meeting Mari in the capital, claiming Mari asked her to pick something up for her once she returned home. With that, Mio requests to see Mari's room and Tanya agrees to lead them there. When the door is opened, Mio and Thomas are startled to find a cluttered storage space stacked with boxes. Curious, Mio asks why Mari is made to work so much. With this, Tanya explains it is because of Mari's appearance. The only one who ever showed Mari real affection was her grandmother Sasha. Suddenly, Cedric bursts in, hoping to see Mari, but his father, George, quickly scolds him. Thomas shrinks back in fear, yet Mio boldly steps forward, confidently introducing herself under her assumed identity. When George hears their explanation, he dismisses Tanya's claim, insisting that the room they were shown was only a storage space, not Mari's actual quarters. Even Tanya seems taken aback, but George smoothly guides Mio and Thomas into the mansion, saying he will show them Mari's real room. As they walk, George describes Mari as shy and gloomy. However, Mio counters this with warm stories of Mari. When Mio is asked what item Mari told her to bring her, she only laughs nervously, claiming it is a secret. George leads the two into a well-kept room, but Mio immediately recognizes it as belonging to Anastasia. Mio explains that Mari loves to study, so her true room should be filled with books. Forced to comply, George reluctantly takes them to another chamber stacked with shelves and leaves them there in haste. Thomas hesitates, unsure whether it is truly Mari's room, but Mio shows little interest in the books. Instead, she presses closer to the windows and begins eavesdropping. The voice seems to come from Elvira, Mari's mother, speaking softly to someone. Listening closely, Mio and Thomas hear her mention Anastasia's name. Before they can catch more, George suddenly returns, announcing that the family plans to go out, so their visit must end. Mio doesn't argue and politely agrees, but when George suggests Mari should come to them next time, she counters that Mari is busy with her upcoming betrothal. With that, George insists that until the ceremony is complete, Mari still belongs to him. Their tense exchange is interrupted when Elvira appears, offering to serve tea. George, however, quickly dismisses her and urges the guests to leave. As Elvira departs, Thomas catches her voice again from the next room, speaking distinctly to Anastasia. When the family departs, Mio and Thomas pretend to leave as well, but in truth, they are just lingering long enough before circling back. With Thomas's help, Mio slips through a window and cracks open the lock to Elvira's private room. As they peek through, they both freeze. The faint silhouette of a woman can be seen from behind the curtain. They approach cautiously, trying to talk to Anastasia, but no reply comes. With unease, they pull the curtains aside, only to freeze in shock as they see a doll dressed exactly like Anastasia. Mio steps closer, inspecting its details with curiosity. After that, they leave the mansion by carriage. Thomas believes Elvira has lost her mind from grief, but Mio disagrees, insisting she is completely sane. Mio recalls how the doll seemed freshly made, probably made by Elvira herself. The doll looks like a real person, even its hair is real human hair, and even worse, the dress was identical to the one Anastasia wore on the day of her accident. Yet that should be impossible, as Anastasia's body was never recovered. These details convince Mio there are glaring inconsistencies in the case. With this, she tells Thomas to take a turn as she needs to meet someone. The driver of the rented carriage is surely lying. Meanwhile, in the capital of the Dilt's kingdom, Kairos and Mari spend their day like ordinary travelers, sampling food from the stalls. Kairos shares how he often came here as a student, recalling his time at the Royal Academy, where he had studied since the age of 12. The thought of a younger Kairos leaves Mari quietly stunned. They discover a vendor selling Donderma ice cream prepared with playful showmanship. When Mari reaches for her order, the vendor begins teasing her, pulling away each time. Though flustered, Mari refuses to give up. The moment she takes her first bite, her face lights up in delight. Turning to share her joy, she finds Kairos already kneeling, overwhelmed by how adorable she is. Their next stop is a store that handles goods from every country, popular among merchants. Kairos talks about the Ipsandrian fabric with pride, pointing it out to Mari. Looking at the variety of clothes, Mari thinks of buying something for Kairos as a present. Since Liu paid her for helping with letters, she has some money with her. However, when she checks the price tag of one of the clothes, her eyes widen in shock. The items are of premium quality and the cost is far more than she expected. Instead, Kairos chooses a suit and tries it on, asking Mari for her opinion. Mari suggests he try the fancier ones, and hearing this, Kairos becomes overly excited, purchasing all the luxurious displays at once. He tries them on one by one, just to show them to her. He even buys a Flarian uniform, saying it would be perfect for cheering her up whenever she feels down. While Kairos is changing, Mari wanders to the jewelry display outside. She pauses at a piece she thinks would suit Kairos well. Just then, a voice calls out to her from behind. Sweat beads on her forehead as she recognizes her sister's voice. Slowly, she turns around only to find a strange-looking man standing there instead. At first, the man only seems to be seeking customers, but soon he insists Mari join him for tea. Mari politely declines, but his behavior grows stranger and more forceful. Alarmed, she calls out to Kairos. In an instant, Kairos grabs the man by the collar. His sharp words make the stranger stumble back and flee in fear. Mari quickly apologizes for the scene, but Kairos is more troubled by something else. Mari never realized the man was trying to ask her out. It assumes she must have had many admirers already, but Mari admits no one has ever asked her before. Back at her school, most boys only mocked her for being plain and ragged. Kairos' chest tightens at the thought. He realizes that George had deliberately kept Mari in tatters to conceal her beauty, trapping her in disgrace so she would never realize her own worth. Rage simmers within Kairos, but he makes a vow to never let that happen again. Taking her hand firmly, he swears not to let go. Mari feels warmth and reassurance in his grip as they continue their stroll. Unbeknownst to them, a mysterious blonde figure lingers a short distance away, silently observing. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes every week.